I'm just going to talk about something that I noticed this week. And it has everything to do with confidence, has everything to do with authenticity, has everything to do with self-expression. Here's what I've noticed. I find myself getting very angry very often lately. The reason why I'm getting angry more often is because I am authentically feeling whatever it is that I'm feeling. And when you are actually not suppressing your emotions, you'll be surprised how much more angry you are, how much more happy you can be, how much more sad you will feel. And often we're simply not experiencing these emotions because we suppress them. We are not allowing ourselves to feel them. For example, this is something that I observed a lot last week. As I'm noticing this dynamic that is going on internally inside me, the suppression of emotion, and when I let go of that lid, when I take the lid off of that emotion, how much more I am feeling, how much more frustration, anger, disappointment, disagreements that I have towards what is happening around me. Essentially, I am not okay with whatever is going on around me. And as I am feeling this, as I am noticing this dynamic, I am also observing what's happening around me, right? I'm observing how other people are behaving. And it's become crystal clear last week how much people are, by social conditioning, stifling themselves to function in society, right? And this is completely normal. This is something that you can't really fight, right? You can't really change that in the society. Let me explain why. It is simply how human nature is. It is just simply like you can't punch air, you know what I mean? You cannot fight the air, you just simply can't. And this is the same thing. It's like human nature that you cannot change. So it is pointless to get angry or frustrated about the fact that yes, society functions in such a way that there are hierarchies and you will be a yes man to your superior. You will bottle your emotions just so you can do the job, so that you can get your paycheck, so that you can keep your job, so that you can keep the peace within whatever social circle you may be in, okay, and whatever social status you have within that group or tribe. That is human nature. It's simply how it is. But I notice how much people are stifling themselves, just saying yes when they do not actually agree. And we become so numb to this because this is just how we function in the world. And unless you are, though, in a place of high status where you do not have to stifle yourself, you can simply say whatever the fuck you want to say, and people have to actually supplicate to you. Now, I'm observing this because I'm working on I work in TV, I work in film. And I was on a job where I was shooting a commercial, right? I'm an assistant, so I'm not like the top of the totem pole either, right? I'm a first assistant, which is the head of the department, but above me is the DOP, director of photography, and of course there are the directors and there are the producers, right? So I am by no means at the top of the totem pole, but I do have some say in how the department is run. It's my say finally in my department how it should be done, okay? However, I'm just looking around and I'm just observing, okay, the director who has the license to demand as a director with certainty what it is that he wants out of the team. What is the vision? What is the footage? What is the shot that he wants? And he should, because that's his job. He's the director. He has to have certainty in his vision. Otherwise, he cannot convince us to do a job, right? We talk about in confidence, in social dynamics, in authentic communication. Whatever it is that you're trying to say, whatever it is that you're trying to communicate, you have to be certain. Okay, you don't have, it can be anything. You could be really into chess. You can speak passionately and with authority on that subject if you really, really like chess and you love talking about it. You can convince other people that chess is fucking amazing. Or let's say if you're into cosplay, right? I met a girl like a couple weeks ago. She's into cosplay. And I can feel from her demeanor and her passion towards cosplay and self-expression that she really enjoys cosplay. And her passion and her enthusiasm for it convinces me that cosplay can be a cool thing to do, that it's super cool that she's into this. And in that same way, the director has to, on set, to lead the team towards the vision, that he wants this shot exactly the way that he wants it. And if he can't sell that to us, then he doesn't have the authority or the conviction or the persuasion to get us to perform at our best, right? So he's gonna be demanding. He's gonna be very certain. He's gonna be authoritative. He has to speak with conviction. Us, as the team, the technicians that make his vision come true, we essentially just become yes men, right? We are like, yes sir, we're gonna get it done. Yes sir, right away. Let's get this camera over there. Let's get this camera on the rig. Let's change the lens on this camera. Let's go over there in the forest while somebody else is shooting something else over there. Everything happening at the same time. He's just thinking on the fly and we're just reacting. He is the director and we are constantly just reacting to what he wants. And in this dynamic, this is just how humans function in a society, right? To get something done that is bigger than a single person. Like, we need this team to come together and work together as a team to create something that is bigger than each of us, okay? That is the unique human ability for us to cooperate and function as a collective to achieve bigger things, okay? To build the pyramids or build this building behind me or create this camera that I'm shooting with, okay? It takes a team, it takes a group of people to do that. However, in that dynamic, I'm observing how we become completely obedient to this authority figure, and whatever he says goes. And in any normal circumstance, I might have some disagreements, right? Let's say, for example, he says something that is absolutely impossible to accomplish. Like, okay, look, I am trying my best to get your job, get your vision, bring it into reality. But here, I'm hearing your demand and I'm telling you, amicably, I am telling you cordially that this is not possible. Let me give you a suggestion. Here are the options. As a technician that is an expertise in my department, let me give you some suggestions of what we could do, okay? So we could make these suggestions. Now, the director can just say, no, we're getting it the way that I want, okay? Or he might say something that it might be disrespectful, or he might not be considerate in some way, okay? I'm not saying that he was. I'm just saying as a potential, okay? Somebody with authority not being considerate, okay, and demanding too much, or saying something that is unjustified, okay, that you might disagree with. And when this happens, you in this situation will suppress what you really think, and you will say yes, right? And I'm seeing this happen. I'm seeing this happen with people around me, okay, just becoming yes people. And it's just how normal this is. And it's normal, it is just human nature. However, the point I'm making is that you are most likely, unless you are at the dominant position, at some dominant position in life, at a higher position in life, you are suppressing a lot of emotions, okay? You might be angry at something, but you will hide it, put on a mask, and say, yes, sir. And you will just get it done, okay? You will just eat that emotion up, okay? Eat it up, and you're just gonna not express yourself, and you're going to do what you are told to do. You are obedient, subject to the authority. And this is just so normalized, and it's conditioned into us. And I'm, again, not saying this is a bad thing, but it is how we operate. And if you're not aware of it, you might be unaware of how much emotion, how much of what you actually think, what you actually feel goes completely unnoticed. You don't even know them because you have basically buried it and hid it away. Because for you to function within your team, your tribe, whatever position you have in your tribe, in the hierarchy, you are not allowed to express yourself. And when you are actually able to, when you take that lid off, when you give yourself the permission to, you will be surprised how often you might be pissed off. Actually, how often you will be pissed off if you allowed yourself to actually express and react to your environment or the people around you. Instead of being a nice guy, nice girl, agreeable, appeasing, supplicating, walking on eggshells, pleasing people around you, just to keep the peace, to silence yourself, to not take space, okay? Because this is something that is conditioned into you, like I said. And when you allow yourself to feel everything, this is the real you. And you might even feel guilty for feeling angry all the time, or feeling like you're frustrated and like, I don't agree with this at all. Actually, if I allow myself to feel this and express myself, I don't agree with this. And you might be constantly feeling that. And this is something that I was feeling last week, okay? As I get into this mode where I'm making videos, speaking to you guys about confidence and self-expression, I am getting into this, I'm tapping into this zone, right? Where I'm very attuned to myself. What do I want to speak to you guys about? What real things do I want to share with you? Okay? What in my life experience can I share with you that could be valuable to you? And as I tune into that, and I try to live my life as real as possible and authentically as possible in my day-to-day, because if I'm not living it, I cannot talk about it, right? So I'm getting attuned to that, and I notice how angry I actually am, okay? Because a lot of things around me I don't agree with, okay? There's things happening that I'm like, yo, I don't agree with this. Yo, this person's fucking talking shit. Yo, I don't agree with the way that these people are behaving, okay? Or whatever I hear in the news, or however my friends are acting up, or what my fucking mom said, or whatever else, okay? There are things that I may not agree with. And instead of just saying, oh, brush it off, you know, I can't change them, or I can't fucking control it, or, you know, I'll just stay quiet to keep the peace. I'll appease them. If I actually allow myself to actually make a discernment according to my standards, right? According to my values and principles that I want to live by, when I uphold myself to that, would I actually allow these things into my life? Do I let these things into my life? Should I make room for them? Okay? And this is super important when it comes to confidence and authenticity, because it's about having standards, right? It's about knowing what you stand for. It's about knowing yourself. It's about knowing what you like, what you don't like, what you're going to allow into your life, what you will never allow into your life, and how you keep your boundaries, okay? How do you keep your self-respect, and how do you navigate through this world and keep true to yourself without bending over and getting fucked by other people. This is why it's very important, and to really become attuned to, like, what do you actually care about? And if you're not in a position in life where you can voice yourself, where you can express yourself, is that okay with you? Are you okay with that? Okay? Because it matters. Everything in life matters. Every little thing matters. How you do one thing is how you do everything else. And if you want to be confident, if you want to be more self-expressive, authentic, think about, okay, am I okay with the position in my life where in the totem pole of society, okay, I'm in a position where I don't really have a say. I don't really have a say. And if I did speak up, I will be disregarded, or I will be silenced, I will be oppressed, I will be whatever, fired from your job, I will be criticized, I will be canceled, whatever, okay? This is where it matters, this is when you have to actually start to accept that power matters, okay? It matters that you are influential. It matters that you are a winner. It matters that you have standards and you push yourself to the standards that is acceptable to you. Okay? And the more powerful you are, the more influential you are, you will proportionately have more social license to speak up and do whatever the fuck, say whatever the fuck you want, actually express yourself authentically. Now, I'm not saying you cannot do that if you don't hold a certain high status. I'm not saying that. However, society will ultimately judge you on your social status, and true confidence doesn't have to abide by social permission. Like, you don't need permission from society to do what you want to do, or say what you want to do, or think how you want to think, or feel how you want to feel. You can give that permission to yourself. But in reality, when you're participating in the world, it still matters, okay? When you are in this social world, when you're interacting with the world around you, it still matters how you are fitting into that dynamic, right? Confidence, it comes from within, but the calibration you have, the social awareness that you have, how you move through the world, how people see you, how people perceive of you, the value that they perceive in you, does have an impact. So there are so many moving parts to this. I'm pretty sure I'm not doing justice to, trying to explain this in a very easy to follow way. But the main thing that I wanted to get across here in this video is how much we are conditioned to suppress our emotions. And when you actually let go and allow yourself to feel what you feel, you will be surprised at how much anger you might have, how much resentment you might have, how much more you will be sad, and conversely, how much more happiness you will feel, how much more joy you can accept into your life, okay? How much more love you can feel for other people, because you're allowing yourself to actually feel what you truly feel, authentically. Whereas in normal life, you are suppressing it just so you can get by, just so you can be accepted by the tribe, just so you can eke by in life without upsetting anybody, to appease people by supplicating, to be people pleaser, and to never cause any trouble. I just wanted to point that out. And if you ever feel like taking that lid off, and if you ever feel like you are, wow, I'm actually pissed off all the time, like everything pisses me off, and it makes you feel guilty, like, oh, I'm not being a good person, oh, I'm not being a nice person because I'm always angry, oh, I shouldn't be angry, it's a bad emotion. No, give yourself the license to feel them, because there is a reason why you feel angry. There is a reason. It's because you do not agree, or you have beef with the situation, okay? That's real. Now, how you digest it, how you process that emotion, now that is completely, totally up to the individual, right? Most of the time, it's what I talked about, like, okay, how do I get into the position in life where I can feel these emotions and express them without punishment, without some sort of suppression by your surrounding, right? That is basically self-development. How do you get yourself there? How do you go from where you are to the place where you can be the director where people listen to what you gotta say. People have to listen and say, look, he wants this, we have to shut the fuck up and do what he says, okay? This is how it is in social hierarchy. It just is, right? So there's two things we're talking about. We're talking about how we deal with, how we process our inner work, inner emotions, and how that is being accepted by the environment, which is the external, right? There's something internal happening, and there's this external world that is also out here, and the interaction in between that. And whether you are able to express them because you have the license to, or you're not in that position in society to be able to do that, because nobody gives a fuck what you think. Shut the fuck up, do your job. That's where that anger is coming from. When you're told to shut the fuck up, don't speak up, just do what you're told. And you are just essentially killing your spirit in order to serve somebody else. This is what makes you angry, right? And if you do feel angry, it's essentially just a sign. It's a call from your spirit. Look, are you okay with this? Are you gonna settle for this? Are you gonna just kill your own spirit just to fucking be a servant? Is this all that you expect from yourself? It's not something that you can change. Like I said, you cannot change society. Okay, you're not gonna go and fucking, take it out on somebody or like scream in the street about how unfair life is. Newsflash, life is unfair. It's just how it is, bro. But what you can control is whether you decide, look, this is not okay with me. I'm angry that this is how it is. I'm not cool with that. I'm not okay with this. This is not okay. And you decide to make something of yourself. You decide, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna start fucking winning. I'm gonna start becoming more influential. I'm going to embrace power. I'm going to empower myself to be able to do whatever I want, when I want, feel how I want to feel, and say what I want to say. And have that agency over your life. Instead of being a little bitch, being someone's fucking slave, and suppressing your emotions. Because you're not allowed to speak up. And that is up to you. And I feel this is extremely important in your pursuit for confidence, your authentic communication, and being happy, fulfilled, living your life to your own standards, living your life on your terms. This is what we're about. This is what this is about here at WMC Club Naturalized. I hope this made sense. I know this was a fucking rant. I know that this was sort of meandering and I went all over the place, but look, I essentially just freestyled it. I had this thought in my head coming from last week, and I was just kept feeling it. Just like, you know what? More reason I want to be free. More reason why I want to succeed online. More reason why I want to keep self-developing and working on myself. Because I want to be free, I want to be my own boss, and I want to call the shots when it comes to how I design my life, how I live my life, right? More motivation. Turn that anger into motivation. Are you okay with it? If you're not, anything less than your standard is pathetic. Don't settle. Keep going forward and keep fucking winning. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.